Hey, this is the Daily Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about bookkeeping and app sales. Okay, so last Saturday I had an email from someone named John who had a question about accounting and apps. So he said, "Hello Eric, I wanted to say thanks for creating your videos for us app developers. I have a request for a new video idea. How do you do bookkeeping for your app sales from different app stores? Does an accountant log every sale and refund transaction, or is there a tool I'm not aware of I could plug into QuickBooks? Thank you, John." Thanks, John. That was a really good question. And this is something that I had like a lot of trouble with, especially early on, because I was asking people about this. Now, I do have an accountant. I've had an accountant because I started Overpass back in 2004, and I realized early on I had no idea what I was doing, and I had no interest in learning. So it was, my accountant handles all of that kind of stuff, but it's changed in the last few years. So first of all, it's different when you talk about the App Store, the Apple App Store, and Google Play. Now, by the way, let me just say this first. Every time I ask anything about taxes, nobody will give me a definitive answer because nobody wants to be sued. And you know what? I don't want to be sued either. So let me just put this out there. I am not an expert. I'm just going to tell you what I know and what we do. Okay, so when you guys ask me questions, just always accept the fact that I'm not an expert on anything, right? It's like you're asking a friend who's been there before, right? So, okay, so now that that's out of the way, right? So the App Store, the Apple App Store and Google Play are both different in terms of the way they're treated with you for tax purposes. And again, I'm in the UK, so there's that too, but it's pretty much the same. So Apple is like, your relationship with Apple is like a B2B relationship. So they're the customer, or you're the customer, whichever, but you only have to worry about invoicing the one. You don't have to, that's why you don't see any of the information about the users. You can't grant refunds. You can't do anything like that. Google is a lot different. Google is more of a B2C relationship. So you do have that going after all these different people. So, and this is one of the things for the longest time, my accountant didn't know what to do with these app sales. Nobody knew, and there was all these discussions on forums. Nobody really knew. But in January 2015, this is in the UK, by the way. So in January 2015, they came up with the VAT-MOS rule. VAT-MOS is we pay VAT on everything here in the UK, so it's like 20% if you're a VAT registered company. So if you make over a certain threshold, then you have to be VAT registered, and you have to charge that extra 20% on top of everything, which sucks really, but what can you do? So so they came up with VAT-MOS, which stands for VAT Mini One-Stop Shop. So they had to charge different levels of VAT for different places. Now they don't do every transaction separately, to answer your question, John. So what they do is every month or two, I have to go into Google Play Developer Console and download one of those financial reports, the CSV one. I forget which one it is, but it's that first one where it shows the list based on country, and then they go through and they do all that kind of stuff. And you know what? I'm so glad they're there to do it. I hate working with tax. And I don't mean that from a fact that I have to pay extra money, although, yeah, obviously, that bothers me. But every time I ask any questions about tax, I always feel like I never get a straight answer. So, and one time I did my own taxes here in the UK, right? I thought, I'll just do my own personal taxes. I used to do the 1040 EZ form back in the States, it's pretty simple, right? And I found out that I'd owed the government like £10,000, right? And I thought, there's no way I could pay that. I don't have that kind of money, right? And then I did it again, and then I found out I owed them £16,000, right? And it was just it was the wording, and I didn't understand what everything meant. It was like when people complain about technology books, it's kind of like that. Every time I read something financial, I was like, I just don't understand it. So then I went to my accountant, which already do my business stuff. I said, can you do my personal taxes too? Yeah, I sent them everything, and like the government owed me like £800 or something. I had a refund. From that moment on, I'm never going to do any of that kind of stuff again. And even so I'm going off on a tangent here. I've answered your question, John, but this is something else. For the longest time when I came out, so I'm a US citizen, I don't have British citizenship, so I still have to do a tax return in the US. Every year. And for the longest time, I was never clear about that. And I could find no clear direction. Nobody I spoke to would give me a clear answer. And for the longest time, I wasn't doing my US tax return. And you know, and I was kind of afraid every time I go back into the country, because I wasn't sure if I was supposed to or not, that I would go through passport security to visit family or whatever, and they said, "Can you come with me, sir?" And it was like a lot of stress, right? So in the end, I found out, yes, I was supposed to do it, and this was like after living here for like 10 years, but then they had this amnesty thing where you just did like the last 5 years. So then I did that. I called up an accountant, and they said, "Oh yeah, no, we could probably do it for you for about," I called the US accountant, "probably do it for you for about $6,000, catch up on your back taxes and everything." I thought, $6,000? And I said, "But don't worry, you probably don't owe anything." What? And I don't owe anything? So, like, you know, it's just, I think the thing that bothers me about working with taxes is not so much the paying, although, yeah, it's mainly because I never know what I'm doing. So anyway, sorry to ramble on there a little bit. You know, when it gets to this kind of things, for the longest time I was just so in the dark about it, right? And because they were just, I think they were just intentionally vague about it, to be honest with you. But now things are a little bit more clear, and my accountant handles everything. Now, when it comes to Amazon, I don't know enough about Amazon to even know how that works. I don't think I've made hardly anything on Amazon. I made a little bit. I'm not sure how the accountant handled that, but you know, I think it's probably the best investment I made is to pay the accountant every month. So anyway, hopefully that helps you guys out. Now, for those of you guys who know differently, or if you think I've said something wrong, or if it's different in your country, please put it in the comments. How are you dealing with this kind of stuff? Because it is something that there's not a lot of information about out there, at least not that I've been able to find. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.